Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and it is wonderful as always that you are here with me for our weekly I Ching forecast for the week commencing the 18th of November 2024. You know the story. Before we get stuck into what the I Ching is trying to help us really focus on and maximize this week, we cast our minds back. We had that elusive and interesting and challenging Hexagram 44 coming to meet or liaison. All right, remember the little cute baby pig that wandered in, and we need to nip it in the bud, making sure we don't let negativity or difficult situations accumulate power and take over the whole show. And perhaps you did, like me, write it on a piece of paper, nip it in the bud. I stuck it onto my computer screen, and it was my mantra for the week. Really helped me to see that some of the challenges I was facing, some admin issues I was facing, were because in the past I didn't nip it in the bud. So I was a bit irritated with myself to realize retrospectively how the I Ching was trying to teach me last week. We also had that energy of no fishes in the tank, right? Something being empty. I'm not sure I understood how that applied to my own life last week. Perhaps it did for you. Perhaps there was something that was empty because we weren't able to connect with people meaningfully. And that energy of the border collies, okay, the sheepdogs herding, all right, herding the sheep, gathering everything together, bringing everything together by gently, perseveringly moving things forward like a sand dune moves, where the wind moves it, shimmering across the desert, one grain of sand at a time. If there was anything for you that came up, please do share. This week, working with this week's energy, right, we are working this week with Hexagram 43. Breakthrough. Now, we had 44 last week, so we've clicked the clock back one hexagram, and in a way we have the complete opposite. Last week we had a whole lot of male lines, okay, and the female line at the bottom coming in, and now we've got a whole lot of male lines, and we've got a female line at the top that's just about to be pushed out, shoved out by these energetic, creative lines pushing upwards. Perhaps our work to root out negativity, to root out areas in our consciousness, areas in our relationships where we've allowed this issue to come in, and we've worked with it last week. Perhaps this week we are culminating that journey by removing the last of it, because this hexagram is about chucking out that last bit of an issue, right? Pushing out the last little bit of work that's been going on from that first position line, transforming all the way up the lines to line position 6, which is something that's culminating, about to end, about to exit, about to leave. So with this hexagram, we work with the idea that we vigorously, energetically, enthusiastically make a decision and move on. We all procrastinate. We just tend to procrastinate on different matters, different issues. This week is a brilliant opportunity for us to take the area we're procrastinating on, where we aren't making decisions, and use this energy of Hexagram 43 to just push it over the edge there at the top. Just get over it, okay? So with this hexagram, it's decisive, it's active, it's male energy. Okay, look at all those yang lines pushing up. Get things done, get things moving, take charge, make a decision. Be decisive. Be focused on what's important and do. Okay. This is not a week of laying low, retreating, taking time out, reflecting, meditating. No. This is a week to do, to decide, to part, to move forward. And we all have something in front of us right now that is waiting on us to make a decision. And very often we are our own worst enemies, all right, leaving the decision to the last moment. I say this for my own benefit because I know what it is, okay, and we all have it. Leaving it to the last moment, not dealing with it, okay, and it becomes, like last week, that wild hog. Now we have the chance of just vanquishing it, right, that last little step. But that last little step requires us to be vigilant, focused, decisive, determined. Male words, yang words, energy words. Okay, we are going to make decisions this week. That is how we release the energy. That's how we move forward. That's how we unlock the next phase. That's how we bring all the creative energy back in. So if you've been feeling tired, exhausted, where is that? Because you're refusing or are avoiding to make that decision you need to make. Okay, we all have it somewhere. Work with the I Ching this week to help you see what that decision is if it's not clear, and to make the decision that you know is the right thing to do for you, for your life. It is difficult. Okay, that is part of the growing process, right, of life. We do have 2 changing lines this week. They're both challenging. Okay, why would this hexagram, where we're being called to be decisive, to take action, to make decisions, to move forward, to break with the past, why would we think it would not be challenging? Because they are in the 3rd and the 4th positions, both transition points, right? Line 3 is the end of the bottom trigram. Then we cross the chasm in the middle and we get to line 4, which is on the other side, which is still not a stable position. We're just crossed the bridge, but tenuous. Okay, so let's get into these changing lines. Line 3. I want to paint a movie scene for this line. Okay. The hero in this movie, all right, that maybe it's a spy movie, right? And it's like a Mission Impossible, right, where you've got a team. And one on the team suddenly seems to go AWOL, going on their own, right? And they're doing things that look from the outside that they have become a spy for the other side, okay? And they're now a traitor. And so the team that's left behind, you hear always words about, disparaging their name. But this character is being silent because there's something really important he or she's needing to do that he or she cannot talk about to the rest of the team. They've got to go undercover. They've got to do something that is really important, but they've got to just go and do it and face it. And only later, when everything unravels, does the team realize that that person was more dedicated and loyal than ever before in the huge act of service done for the team, for this issue, for the cause, whatever the cause was. Okay, can you see that kind of image? We've seen this trope in storytelling many times over. This line speaks about us needing to part with something, either part with the crew we're part of, right, and go and do the job, go and do what's necessary, go and do the dirty work. Even if people don't understand what you're trying to do, people talk negatively about you, go and do what's necessary. Put your head down. Don't make a big fuss about it. Don't make a big bravado noise. You just put your head down and go undercover and do it, right? Or it can also relate to another aspect of going on a solo journey, leaving behind this noise and hubbub and finding your own way forward and accepting that it's time to leave the situation, even if the people that you're leaving are going to really tear up your name in your absence. The spoken word, the gossip, the negative speaking about you when you're not there. Okay, so these are the ideas. There's something we need to do. And doing that is a solo journey. We can't take anyone with us. We can't make a lot of fuss about it. Doing that unravels what we're trying to do. We need to put our head down and go and do what's necessary. Even if people are moaning about us, we don't come to harm through it. We actually come to harm if we don't commit and fulfill the responsibility that's in front of us, doing the dirty job, doing the dirty work that others don't realize is so critical. So keep your eyes open for this kind of interesting dilemma of needing to go it alone on something and just being at peace that not everyone agrees that what you're doing is the right thing. And it might even be cavorting with the enemy for a little bit, the enemy, to get somewhere. And that is perceived negatively by others. And there's all the gossip. Oh, he's turned traitor. She's turned traitor. But actually what you're doing is you're using the resources around you to get this thing done. It's really, really critical. This energy of Hexagram 43 is urgent and energetic and decisive. Just do what you need to do. Okay, that is how we work with line 3. In line 4, we have a position of feeling isolated and alone. Okay, so line 3, we need to leave the group, okay, and go on the solo mission. Now we're over the other end of the line and we're feeling isolated and alone. There's a sense with this line that there's a bit of a gift of fate, right? Something comes to us, something brings us a situation. And what we do, okay, very important, there's 2 things that we do. the line talks about acting like a sheep. Okay, it is good for us to behave like a sheep. Okay, so remember I used all this analogy of sheep and sheepdogs last week. Now we are the sheep. The way that we deal with line 4 is we let ourselves be led forward. We don't buck and force and try and create the agenda on this particular thing. This thing that comes up, it's like a moment of fate, feeling really on the outside, isolated, alone, right? Moving to a new place, like in that transition, you've crossed this chasm, uncomfortable energy. And we have to see whatever has emerged is a gift, right? We can't see it yet, right? We can't appreciate how necessarily it's tied to what we need to do, but it's a gift. And we have to let ourselves be led. That is a critical part of allowing this line's energy or blessing to come to us. And the second part of this line is all about what we hear. Last line, we had lots of chattering by others, okay? And in this line, we have to be careful of what we're hearing. Two parts to this. One is the inherent risk we have of not hearing clearly what people are saying. So this is our own personal development. And perhaps if we were listening carefully to what people were really saying, what the information was trying to tell us, what good counsel was trying to give us, we would be able to follow what's needed and be the sheep. Okay, so perhaps they are tied together by hearing correctly, by being open to hearing the good counsel. We can accept where it is we need to follow the process and be the sheep. The second part is sometimes, and for you this might be for this week and might be on some aspects of this week, is that we have to be just a little cautious around the words we hear. How we listen, how we hear truth. Understand what is being said, what is the intention of the speaker, what are they trying to do? Is this good counsel that I need to listen to and be the sheep from? Or are these words that are distracting, irrelevant, noise? What am I hearing? Okay, so this week, we might have a lot of chitter-chatter, people moaning. Okay, there's a lot of talk. But what am I really hearing? Okay, and where in all this noise and all the radio stations static do I find the channel? Do I find the flow of information that is actually what I need to hear, that is going to activate my inner sheep, give me the trust, give me the right voice to lead me out of this noise? Okay, two interesting lines. They're tricky, they're uncomfortable. Just be at peace that there's some energy in this week that's a little uncomfortable because we are transitioning across this middle line and we're having to go it alone, and we're going to have to leave behind others, and we're going to have to accept their views on us having taken a path or taken a decision or taken a route. We're going to have to accept that there's some hand of fate playing out here, and if we listen carefully, we can hear the right voice to lead us forward in the noise and be like sheep and follow that voice once we've tuned into it. Okay, so how do we work with the second hexagram? Because now we've got two changing lines. That means we definitely have a second hexagram, a second flow of change that works in this week. And it is hexagram 60, limitation. Okay, so our first hexagram, we were breaking free, breakthrough, cracking through that last little obstacle. All right, now we have hexagram 60, limitation. What is that? Hexagram 60 is, if you look at the structure, the bottom trigram is lake and the top trigram is water. So water pouring into lake. We can have a lot of trouble if we don't control this, all right? Because the lake's already full. There's flow, okay? And how do we control this flow? In a way, in my mind, I see this picture of the breakthrough hexagram being like a dam wall that is opened up, okay? In making this decision and parting, it opens up flow. And then the flow comes pumping into the lake or the dam, and suddenly we have a control issue that's required, and they work together. So that's how I'm seeing these two story parts clipping together as we work with this week's hexagrams. Hexagram 60 is all about putting in place good, healthy structures, boundaries, controls, limits, okay? Good discipline to structure and to control the flow, okay? We are the dam wall managers turning those dials and making sure only the right amount of water is flowing down into the valley below, looking after the flow in the dam above, and watching those dials and monitoring the situation for any kind of like pressure valve issues or any maintenance that's required. This is how we maximize the week. We make a decision and we release the floodgates, okay, in the first hexagram. And we also put in place some good controls. The way we can do this is we can put in place good boundaries with other people, okay? So not taking everyone else's stuff on. That's beyond what you have in front of you. Remember, we're trying to avoid the dam overflowing. We can do things like to-do lists and get your diary out and book meetings in your calendar and like just create some structure. Create your 5 must-dos every day, your daily hit list, right? It's about creating a way of breaking time up into chapters, into sections, into tasks, into a smaller chunk of project activity, right? Instead of one big thing that needs to get done. And that is how we control and limit the flow, okay? This is what we're paying attention to. So as we work with the week, we are finding a way to use our male energy to push out. And we're using that control, right? We are pushing out and we are pulling back with a control lever. And as we work, maybe it works in cycles with you this week of pushing out and putting in a control, right? Find ways of balancing out the breakthrough energy, this flood of creative energy that activates by dealing with that last little line at the top, by dealing with releasing some of these sticky issues we've got in line 3 and 4, all right? And then controlling the lever, all right? What can I do? What can't I do? What is going to send me over the edge? What do I do with extra flow? How do I manage suddenly getting very busy, right? Suddenly getting lots of requests, lots of clients, lots of requests for dates, whatever it might be. How do I manage this welling up of flow, of water, of opportunity, of energy, of issues? We put in place good, healthy controls, okay? Good boundaries. Ooh, we're going to work through this together. Let's see what comes up for us this week as we work with breaking through and limitation. Healthy limits, okay? Good, positive austerity where it's needed to allow us to get to the next phase safely. Thank you so much. If you liked or enjoyed this episode, please thumbs up, like would be great. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell, or the follow button if you're on the podcast version. And I will see you next week, which is our last weekly overview for November. And then we're into December. I can hear the Christmas bells already. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon.